Thanks for joining us here on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schneid. It's Tuesday, January 15th. Tonight we're taking a look at drug seizures in Utah. The Drug Enforcement Administration's Rocky Mountain Field Division, or RMFD, set a record for seizures in the region in 2025. The division includes 4 states. Utah's in there, Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. 2 News spoke with Miguel Chino, Assistant Special Agent in charge for the Rocky Mountain Field Division there. Take a listen.
Yeah, in the Rocky Mountain Field Division, which Utah's part of, it consists of Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and Montana. There was 8 million fentanyl pills. Well, 2 million of those pills were seized in the state of Utah.
And what's the street value of that, the 2 million?
Retail of those pills is usually $1 a pill, but it just depends on where you are in the state of Utah. They can go up to $10 a pill, $20 a pill. It just depends on where you are.
And how does it benefit the local community to get these drugs off the street?
It benefits because it saves lives. And that's where we are right now with DEA. DEA's focus right now is a fentanyl-free America, which means that through enforcement, through education, through working with our federal, state, and local partners, we want to total eliminate fentanyl in the state of Utah and in the United States. And so that's our goal here in Utah, is to eliminate in Utah, but it's total elimination of fentanyl in the United States.
And in the last year, what would you say has gone especially well in chasing down fentanyl?
One thing that's gone well, the overdose deaths are down. They're still high. 2023 was a spike where over 110,000 people died from fentanyl poisoning. It's gone down. It's closer to 50,000 now. And so I think that's a positive look. The other thing is, in 2023, 7 out of 10 pills were lethal. We've brought that number down to 3 out of 10 pills, which enforcement's had a lot to do with that. Sanctions, all those things have had a lot to do with dropping those numbers.
Those deaths are nationally?
National, that's correct.
And what are some obstacles you guys keep coming up on in the search for fentanyl?
I think one thing is manpower. We continue, and that's why we continue to partner with our federal, state, and local partners. We continue to partner with them and to have one team that's going after this drug that's killing people.
Mexican cartels are alive and well with their presence in Utah, according to Chino, but the DEA has increased enforcement operations, which has helped them catch more pills. And Chino says that's particularly because the Trump administration designated some cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. That gives them more law enforcement tools, the ability to charge offenders more severely. Chino says the majority of drug seizures in Utah do happen along the Wasatch Front. The ultimate goal, getting fentanyl completely out of the country. Chino says in 2026, they will push for more enforcement and education about the dangers of fentanyl, specifically how one pill can kill. Check it out. Earlier this week, South Jordan police, they say in collaboration with state and federal agencies, recovered more than 1,500 grams of marijuana, 11.5 grams of cocaine. The big one here, nearly 290 grams of fentanyl. Look at the blue pills. They also recovered a stolen pistol, a rifle, and a ghost gun. We've talked a lot about drug trafficking, specifically here on this program. Hundreds of pounds of drugs are trafficked through Utah each year. And while the DEA might make a lot of their drug busts along the Wasatch Front in collaboration with those local agencies, it's not the only place where drugs are passing through. In 2023, Grant County Sheriff's Office led Utah in confiscation of meth. And I got to join the sheriff, Jamison Wiggins, with Grant County in 2024 on a patrol. He told me that traffickers either stay north on I-15 towards Salt Lake City, or they head back east on I-70 from the junction into Colorado.
The narcotics aren't being made in Moab. They're coming from a destination and they're coming to Moab. So if it's passing through on the interstate and it's headed to Denver, well, it's going to Denver, it's getting split up, and then it's coming back to local communities.
I would invite you to use the Google machine. We did a number of stories on this. They were fascinating. We were in pursuit with deputies. That's what this drug bust is from. Spiked a vehicle, high-speed chase. Earlier this month, the Emery County Sheriff's Office and the Grant County Sheriff's Office worked together to pull 26.8 pounds of meth off the road. A critical component, that drug bust, K9 Zora from Grand County. That is Zora's partner you see on the screen right there, Deputy Josh Stalps. Back in 2024, when I joined Grand County for that ride along, I met the deputy and K9 Zora.
Last year, we also found quite a bit of M30 pills, which is fentanyl pills. And that was actually one of my and Zora's as a team, one of our first busts together, which was 66.6 pounds of fentanyl pills and 19 pounds of cocaine and I think 30 pounds of methamphetamine.
Yeah, they're a well-oiled machine by now. They've been working together for a few years. Zora makes headlines, by the way, at least once every few months, at least from what we hear. Trained on cocaine, meth, heroin, ecstasy. K9 teams make roughly 10 to 15 traffic stops per day. They were out there making a number of stops in just a few hours when we hung out with them. Police say a Salt Lake County man who was moving meth into Utah from a Mexican cartel agreed to be an informant, but then betrayed the investigators. Christopher Johnson faces multiple charges. Investigators say the operation brought hundreds of pounds of meth into Utah every single week. Christian Cita spoke with a former FBI agent about how drugs move into Utah and why informants remain critical in stopping that flow.
Drugs sold on Utah streets often begin their journey thousands of miles away, moved quietly by people who are easy to replace and hard to trace. Retired FBI agent Greg Rogers says cartels carefully control how drugs move north.
Sadly, what happens is, in the vast majority of cases, the cartels they're savvy.
Rogers says cartels used a layered system that keeps drug trafficking moving while protecting those in charge.
It's part of doing business.
That design helps cartel leaders stay hidden even when shipments are seized. According to the Utah Fentanyl Task Force, agents seized more than 4.4 million doses of fentanyl, along with 282 pounds of cocaine, 169 pounds of heroin, and nearly 1,500 pounds of methamphetamine in 2025.
What role do confidential informants actually play in, trying to dismantle these drug networks?
They're absolutely vital.
Rogers says informants are often the only way undercover agents can gain trust and move up the chain.
That's how it works. That's how we work these cases.
Despite the risks involved, Rogers says informants remain essential to keeping drugs from reaching communities.
You can't make these cases without confidential informants.
Utah has a special task force dedicated to trying to keep those drugs off the streets. The Fentanyl Task Force, formed in October 2024, created to address a rising fentanyl drug crisis. You can track their progress, see how they seize the illicit drugs, and see how much they've taken off the streets and their plans going forward. All that information is on the Utah Fentanyl Task Force website. Today, the Utah Board of Education struggled with how to cut millions of dollars from their annual budget and whether students will pay the price. The Utah legislature asking for a 5% reduction to the state's annual education budget. Two proposed budgets were just made public and met with immediate backlash. Liv Kelleher reports.
We need time. We need to make sure that when we vote for these cuts, you look at these kids in the faces. I'm sorry. I want the legislators to walk through the halls of these schools and you tell those kids what programs you're going to cut.
Two budget options released Wednesday include proposed cuts to programs for disabled students, dual immersion, early literacy, digital learning, and some salaries for math and science teachers. But perhaps the most contentious proposal, cuts that would eliminate suicide prevention and mental health screening programs.
Wait, you're cutting suicide prevention?
Advocates warn that cuts to these programs could have devastating impacts on students.
Have you seen those programs in schools save lives?
Absolutely.
Sarah Stroup is a therapist and a legislative chair for the Utah Association for Marriage and Family Therapy.
We have kids who are struggling with suicidality, with trauma, with friendship issues. They're not going to be focused on math. They're not going to be focused on reading.
She says if either of these budgets were to pass, it could impact school districts differently. But she anticipates cuts to about 350 people in mental health-related positions, like therapists, school counselors, and social workers, and the loss of anti-bullying programs and suicide prevention peer groups. She says all of this is essential to kids, where suicide is one of the leading causes of death.
So by having mental health in schools, by collaborating with teachers as partners, we give kids the best opportunities to succeed in school.
Board members expressed their discontent with the proposed budgets and the fact that they have such limited time to weigh in.
You find somewhere else to cut things. You look under every single rock in Utah and you make cuts, not in education, not for our kids.
Now, ultimately, the state legislature does control the purse strings and will have the final say on the school's annual budget. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Liv Callagher, KUTV 2 News.
The Timpanogos School Board votes to call Utah's new district the Timpanogos School District. The district is made up of schools in Linden, Pleasant Grove, Orem, and Vineyard. The name was the overwhelming favorite in the public survey results. Other options included were Orchard, Geneva, and Timpanogos School District will begin operating in July 2027 after voters approved the breaking away from the Alpine School District and breaking it into 3 new districts. Coming up here on ARC Salt Lake, why Lehigh's rodeo is sold out months in advance and what organizers are trying to do to stop overpriced ticket resales. The city of Lehigh feeling growing pains. So is the Lehigh Roundup Rodeo. This year's event sold out within hours. Tonight, many without tickets are crying foul. Leslie Duarte spoke to rodeo organizers and rodeo fans.
We are at the Lehigh Rodeo Grounds. This is where people come to watch the rodeo.
This year, the beloved summer 4-night event is nearly all sold out.
Up till maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we could have tickets still available into June.
Rodeo President Mike Southwick.
What do you think has made the rodeo so popular?
I feel it's just because, well, there's more people in Lehigh now.
Some people online commenting they couldn't find any tickets, claiming a resale trend. Southwick on ticket resales.
We don't like it because we're trying to make this for families to be able to come and be able to afford to come to it. And
how much do the tickets usually resell for?
They can go anywhere from $85 up. We've seen them up to $120.
A rodeo fan and a neighbor to the arena, Debbie says her friend had a hard time getting tickets for her family.
She's had quite a difficult time because she needs like 40 tickets.
Southwick says they have tried to deter resales.
We have limited the tickets to 25 in one transaction to try to minimize people just coming in and buying 100, 150 tickets at a time and then reselling them.
And this year they are adding more seats to the arena.
So over the course of the 4 days, 4 nights, it would be 1,200 seats that we'll be at.
The arena sits about 6,500 people. Organizers say there still may be some single tickets left online. Reporting from Lehigh, Leslie Duarte, KUTV 2 News.
So back in September, Utah joined an FTC lawsuit against Ticketmaster and Live Nation. Maybe you've heard of those two. The suit alleges Ticketmaster encounters and encourages brokers to circumvent the site's enforcement measures so they can resell millions of tickets on the secondary market. It also takes aim at hidden fees. Since 2019, the lawsuit claims Ticketmaster generated more than $11 billion from mandatory or hidden fees added onto the orders during the final stage of a transaction.
The Super Bowl of Caring. Brought to you by America First Credit Union, Smith's, Check City, Ford, Balance of Nature, and Rocky Mountain Power.
You can help end child hunger in Utah with our Super Bowl of Caring. Grab your phone right now. I know you're scrolling on it. Put your camera app on there, scan the QR code on your screen, or go to KUTV.com/donate for more information on how to help out. $10 can help feed a child for a weekend. Do us all a favor, wear a helmet. Intermountain Health and Brighton Ski Resort are giving away free ski helmets. Tomorrow, they'll give away 125 helmets to those skiing or riding without head protection. The goal is to reduce the number of injuries and improve safety on the slopes. The National Ski Areas Association says helmets can reduce head injuries by up to 50%. I believe it. This is the second annual free ski helmet giveaway. It is one of the most crucial things you can have when being on the snow. Got to protect yourself. It may not look as cool. Come on, wear your helmet. Speaking of cool, meteorologist Chase Thomason, kind enough to grace us with his presence this evening here on Arc Salt Lake. You know what's not cool, Chase? The inversion.
Yeah.
I'm just going to not be sugarcoating it anymore. It is no longer cool to talk about.
Hey, we might break the inversion briefly tomorrow afternoon. It's something that I'm watching very closely because, yeah, it is, technically it is cool, the temperature below the temperature inversion. We are actually warmer above us. I know, hard to believe, but temperatures have been about 5 to almost 15 degrees cooler in some of our mountain valleys. Higher up you go. We're breathing in all this gunk. That is the pollution that we're seeing that is trapped underneath that temperature inversion. We have a cold front tomorrow. It's coming from the east, so that's why we call it a backdoor cold front. It's a dry front, so no precipitation, and we stay dry through the weekend, and unfortunately high pressure builds back in, so these inversions will redevelop. We'll see a storm, though, potentially next week. It still looks like it's a possibility by the end of the week, but that's more than a week out. Things could change, but we're watching it closely for you. Big, giant ridge of high pressure, yikes. Look at the entire west, clear skies. This is where the jet stream is, this is where the cold air is and the precipitation, but that's where the cold front will be swinging in from Wyoming by tomorrow afternoon. Unfortunately, all the precipitation will stay east of the Rockies, but we're hoping for a little bit of wind. Those wind speeds are going to stay calm overnight and tomorrow morning, so still dealing with some hazy conditions, but by the afternoon, it could get a little breezy. We'll be watching those wind speeds coming in maybe at 10 to 20 miles per hour. With that cooler air, we could maybe equalize the atmosphere just a bit and see some improvement in the air quality. It's a possibility, maybe in the moderate, and then we're back into the orange as we head into your weekend. So there is that front that I mentioned coming in from Wyoming by tomorrow afternoon. Notice just a little bit of cloud cover in southwestern Wyoming and northeastern Utah. High pressure to our west, though, will kind of hang out and still block any meaningful storm systems, and then sliding back in by the end of the weekend and into early next week. So we'll still have some light northerly winds aloft, so hopefully it doesn't get too bad when it comes to these inversions, but we'll likely still see that haze and bad air for probably another week. Then a storm looks like a possibility. The computer models have been kind of flip-flopping on the intensity. Today they kind of backed off just a bit, but new data tonight I'm looking at showing that it still looks like maybe a storm with a little bit of rain and snow Thursday night into Friday with a little bit of wind that would break the inversion, cleaner air, and maybe we'll get some precipitation in here. Be nice to get some more snow at our resorts, but that's about a week out. Clear skies in Salt Lake right now, 34 degrees. Look out for maybe some patchy fog around the Great Salt Lake and Bear Lake. We get that when we have these inversions. Temperatures for tonight to the 20s here in northern Utah and across central Utah. St. George at 33, clear skies, and tomorrow we'll be in the low 60s. Upper 40s through central Utah, and we'll be in the upper 30s and low 40s along the Wasatch Front. A little bit cooler in our mountain valleys because of that backdoor cold front, with highs in Park City near 40 degrees. We'll see highs near 60 through the weekend in St. George, low 60s for all of next week. No rain. Okay, Salt Lake, low to mid 40s through the weekend, dealing with that haze. Now those temperatures overnight still cool into the 20s. We might be even milder if we have just weak inversions for next week. Highs near 50 by Wednesday, with a chance for a couple rain showers on Thursday, changing to snow next Friday.
All right, thank you, Chase. Still ahead here on Arc Salt Lake, Utah's last Sundance Film Festival starts next week. How you can still get some tickets before it's gone for good. Utah's last ever Sundance Film Festival starts in just 1 week. The festival, which shows hundreds of movies in the Salt Lake Valley, Park City, and online, starts January 22nd, ends February 1st. Festival packages and package sales there are largely sold out, but they do have some single tickets available still. Those can be bought on the Sundance website for $35 each. It will include a tribute to founder Robert Redford, who passed away last year. The 2027 festival will be making its move to Boulder, Colorado. Unified Police just threw a retirement party for Canine Cash. The dog's been on duty for more than a decade, since 2015. Cash helped to respond to more than 3,000 calls. Go get a steak, Cash. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.